Hello, folks. Hope you're doing all right. Welcome to Stay Well with Dr. Zorba Pastor. That's you.
Yes, it is. I love it when you push the hand, you point to me.
That's your line.
That's
line.
Right. That's my line, right? There was a show, What's My Line? But it's different. That's a different guy.
Different thing.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the show. I'm Carl Christensen. I'm sitting across the desk from the one and only,
the real Dr. Zorba Pastor. Yes.
Flesh and blood. He's
That's
the real
me.
guy.
Flesh
He's the
and
real
blood.
doctor. There he is.
Flesh and blood.
Let's talk
all
about,
contained within my body. That's right.
You contain multitudes, Zorba. Today we're going to discuss a topic that he's very passionate about, health literacy.
Absolutely. And I am passionate about it.
You are, definitely. We're going to take a listener phone call. Zorba will answer some listener emails, and we'll hear from my mom, who's going to share one of her mom jokes, and we may also hear from those pesky grammar cops. You love them. The phone number to call anytime if you have a question for the good doc is 608-492-9292.
That's right, 608-492-9292. There's a lot of nines
Just
and a lot of
keep
twos.
dialing 92.
But let me tell you, I love the calls. I answered lots of them.
Sure.
Some people want to be on the air. Some people want to leave a message. Some people just want an answer. Call us at 608-492-9292.
All right, let's kick off today's healthy living topic with an email we received. This is from BJ in Belleville, Wisconsin, who writes, "Hello, Dr. Zorba. As per usual, I was glad for your recent column regarding who to trust and where to go for medical information.
Right.
But I feel that your article needs a sequel. As helpful and accurate as it was for you to suggest we follow your podcast, it would be even more helpful for you to list a series of other various medical resources online, such as the Mayo Clinic, plus many others that I'm sure I'm not aware of. I also think it would be beneficial for you to share strategies and advice about what we, the non-medically educated patients, can and should do with this plethora of information that comes at us like a tidal wave.
It is.
How do you sort
Correct.
through it? Who to call and discuss it with when, et cetera, et cetera. Thanks for your time."
Well, these are great questions.
There's a lot of stuff coming
out.
at us.
But
Yeah.
health literacy is a big issue.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the perfect example. If you write a medication, you write for a medication. This is a good example. What happened early in my career, I had a young woman came in with a urinary tract infection, easy to treat, typical antibiotic. We check the culture and sensitivity the next day. She's on the right antibiotic, comes back 10 days later. It's not better. I still have discomfort, and then give another antibiotic that fit with the culture and sensitivity. Came back 10 days later, same thing, and did that the third time. So the third time she came in, I said, "I've got to figure this out. I told you about hygiene and other things. Let me know. Just tell me your typical day." And she said, "I get up in the morning, take my antibiotic on an empty stomach," because that's what it says to do. "And then I take my second set of pills after my first set." I said, "Wait a minute. You take the prescription says take medicine twice a day." And because that's the way it was probably sent out, and you take one right after another. And I said, why do you do that? She said, "Well, I don't want to forget the second pill." In other words, so she was taking it twice a day, but she was not taking it every 12 hours.
Right.
Now, this is years ago. We used to say twice a day, and pharmacies often did not put on the hourly thing. But it was a good example of health illiteracy and how we expect people to know what we're doing when we're talking about it, and they don't. So one way, health literacy, just generally read about health. And when I say read about health in reliable sources, newspapers, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, that you trust. Look at reliable sources. If you go on the web, you're going to get a lot of unreliable sources.
Sure.
You got to be careful.
Right.
Got to be careful. Reliable sources. Newsletters that come from major sources, the Harvard newsletter, the Berkeley newsletter, the newsletter from Johns Hopkins, the newsletter from Mayo Clinic. Those are going to be good scientifically based articles. They can make a difference. And that's really what you're looking for. And if you're looking for good advice, go to those good, well-known institutions, and they will give you scientifically based information. And one of the reasons we do this show is I'm a scientist. My show looks at science, and science is my guide. That's what it is. So I may make mistakes, and I will make mistakes because science changes. One day it says everyone should take aspirin, and the next time it says only people with heart disease, stroke, or diabetes, or other medical problems should take aspirin. Why? Because it changes with information that comes in. So don't be frustrated. Things are going to change over time, and that's the way to work. But that's what our podcast is. I give reliable information, and Carl, of course, is the most reliable person in the world, so he gives reliable jokes and humor.
That's what I do. That's my role. I hit record on the machine and throw a couple jokes out there.
Well, you do more than that. You do more than that. But
sure. I get water and stuff.
We're done with that. I meant that as a compliment, not as an insult.
I'm just being a self-deprecating Midwesterner, I guess. It's a good question, though, right? I mean, there's so much out there. And I mean, over the years, you've mentioned, Mayo Clinic websites,
right.
Cleveland Clinic,
Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, and universities, websites, University of Wisconsin. Any a good institution is going to give you good scientifically based information. They may not be right all the time. So if you're concerned, go to 2 or 3 institutions for the question you want to have answered. Or, like I said, our website, we answer a certain number of questions, but it's good and it's important. And the more you read about health, the smarter you will become.
If you have a question for the good doc, the number to call anytime is 608-492-9292.
That's right. It's 608-492-9292. I love the calls. If you call, I will answer you back.
There you
and
go.
you have a chance to be on the show.
That sounds great. Let's go to one of those calls now. Let's try to help out a caller from El Paso, Texas. Hi.
Hi, Dr. Zorba. I wanted to know about hormone replacement therapy. I thought I was too old. I'm 76.
That's not old. I'm 78. So you're 2 years younger than me. I call you a young person. You are not old. Now,
Well,
from
thank
Carl's
you.
point of view,
No,
forget it.
come
I
on.
mean,
I don't call anybody
that's
old.
Right. He doesn't call anybody old, but he may think people are old. He may say, "Who's that old person walking down the street?" I know him well. But yeah. So you're in the vibrant range. You're in your gap year. That's what you're doing. Taking a gap year.
Okay. Well, I wanted to know what you thought about hormone replacement therapy for women.
Well, by the way, so HRT, hormone replacement therapy, has seen a variety of different things. So first of all, we put, and I've in practice for 45 years. So we put every woman, probably 10 or 15 years, 20 years probably 15 years after I started practice, every woman was put on hormone replacement therapy, either a variation of the birth control, that would be a synthetic hormone, or something called Premarin, which actually came from pregnant horses. And
Yes.
Carl's putting his head yes.
Okay.
Got it, Carl?
Got it.
Pregnant horses. It was the urine from pregnant horses.
Wow.
And it was used, really. I mean, who thought that the urine from a pregnant horse would actually be used in a pill?
Wow.
I mean, that took a lot to it. But anyway, it was commonly given. Then the HERS and HERS2 study came out. HERS 1, HERS 2. That seemed to show, I have to say that, seemed to show that this was a major cause of breast cancer. So what happened then was hormone replacement therapy went out. Basically, it dried up. It was hardly used at all. Number of women really needed it because they had hot flashes. They weren't functioning. Those hot flashes can be really disturbing, last forever. And so it was given something called a black box warning by the FDA. Black box means pay attention, high risk. High risk. The FDA has decided to remove the black box warning on hormone replacement therapy.
That happened very recently.
Yeah, it
didn't
happened within the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so that's because the data has now shown it's not as bad as we thought. The risk of cancer, and I've read this back and forth, first of all, may not actually be there. It may be a statistical issue in who they used and how they actually evaluated. So it may not be there, but if it is there, it may be minimal. So it may be as minimal as other things that you can alter within your life to reduce your risk of breast cancer. There are other things in terms of eating nutritionally, staying away from smoking, not drinking too much alcohol, a lot of other things. So This opens the door to reusing hormone replacement therapy in women. So I have a question for you. Do you want to start hormone replacement therapy? You're not too old.
Yes, I do want to start it.
Why?
I believe that estrogen is part of our body, but when we're old and don't make eggs anymore, we still need it.
Right. It may make you feel better. It may actually change other things in terms of how you feel, how you work. We know that it reduces the risk of osteoporosis and fractures from osteoporosis. I agree with that. I think that is something. And I've read a lot about it. And there are a number of physicians who have told me, who are good researchers, OBGYNs, who have said, I really, over a number of years, really should go back to thinking about hormone replacement therapy. But then others go, oh, no, we can't do that. So I like the fact that if the FDA took it off of the black box warning, that means the data really is strong and you can go back to using it.
All right. That's all I needed to know.
That's right.
It's good enough for Dr. Zorba.
You've got it. So remember, there are different ways to take this. So you can take, you have to take estrogen and progesterone. You can either take estrogen for close to 90 days, and then the last week, I have to look up the latest guidelines, the last week or 10 days, you take progesterone and then you stop for a week. In other words, you actually have to give your uterus a chance to stop, or you take an estrogen progesterone therapy together. I haven't read the basic guidelines. I don't have a computer in front of me, but you can actually use ChatGPT, because everyone can use it. And you can put in hormone replacement therapy for women. That's one variable. Well, two variables. HRT, women, put in your age, what's recommended, do how much estrogen, how much progesterone, and put that into ChatGPT or another AI, and you will get an idea and an answer. And then you call your doctor, and then you say, this is what I think it is. What do you think? What do you think your doctor will do when you ask for it?
She'll give it to me because she's a female and she knows that we need it.
You hit a really important point. She's a female and she knows that you need it. And that's right. I'm a guy. You can't really think like I can think. You can think 90%. Carl is now smiling. You are now smiling.
I'm listening to you dispense great advice.
You're
That's
smiling.
All I'm doing. I'm not laughing.
Yeah,
I'm
but your
smiling.
smile was kind of wide there. He was laughing, thinking like a guy. We can only think so much like each other. And I'm not getting into other issues with other things. But if you identify as a male and you identify as a female, sometimes it's not congruent on how you look at things. Let's leave it at that. And you're right. A female gynecologist is much more likely to interact with you with HRT. On the whole, I'm making a generalization, than a male gynecologist. On the other hand, if you came to me as a family doc in my office, I'm a guy, I would say do it. But then again, I have 2 daughters and 2 sons, and I'm very aware of the fact that I don't think like a woman, so I try to think like a woman would. And the answer is try it. Mm-hmm. So that's your answer.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zorba. I sure enjoyed listening to you and wish you the best with your new show.
Thank you. Thanks so much, and take care.
You too. Stay well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I like how she said stay well. That's your line, right? That's your line. Well, thanks so much for that call. 608-492-9292. You can also email Zorba at askdrzorba@gmail.com or post on the Facebook page.
Absolutely.
People like going there and seeing what you're seeing Zorba's travels, all kinds of stuff going on there. All right, Zorba, let's take a listener email. Greetings, Zorba. Any building with echoes is hard for me to tolerate. I cannot have conversations, pay attention, and I grow weary. I understand it as a sensory issue, and I have stopped going to auditoriums, churches, and places with microphones. I even offended a person at an indoor swimming place when I asked them to turn down the music. It was brutal even when I had earplugs in. Can you please comment on hypercusis? Thank you.
You said that.
I said it right?
Yeah.
Well, I wrote it out how to say it.
But it's hard to imagine. But people actually function, and when they have hypercusis, they may hear a voice like mine, and they hear it at twice the decibels or 3 times the decibels. So you've been in large, picture a swimming auditorium.
Oh, sure.
You know,
Really
and you've been
echoey.
there. Totally
I have a hard
echoey.
time with that.
Right, totally
Yeah.
echoey, and you've got to concentrate. There's a cognitive load that's involved with that, and you put in earplugs, then you don't hear what you want to hear, but you don't hear anything else. And there's no easy solution to this. There's no easy solution. Now, when going out to restaurants, there is an easy solution. You only go to restaurants that, where basically the sound is attenuated and there's not an echo. So I like going to different kinds of restaurants, and some of them I really like the food and I like the service and I like the way it looks, and quite often it's really noisy.
Yeah, the
'Cause
music's
people
just
like that.
blasting
Noisy. And in fact, I'll be going to a restaurant tonight in Madison called Cento, some pronounce it.
Cento, yeah.
It's really good because
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to an organ concert. Last time we were there, it was really noisy. So I asked them, we have one of the people's disability in our group. He's on a walker. And I said, please put us in a table which is the least noisy table in the restaurant.
Smart.
So they're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in a booth, it's going to be less noisy, right? And
Yeah, you got
last
some
time
isolation.
we were in the middle of the restaurant, and I thought, well, it's noisier because we're right in the middle.
Right.
And that's because as you get older, the noise becomes a little bit more common, loud noises and people. When I was younger, when I was 16 or 18, I never cared about it.
Same here. It didn't bother me at all. The older I get, the more it bothers
Well,
me.
the more it bothers you because your brain changes with the articulation of the information within the brain. I don't quite understand it, but there's something that goes on that makes it a cognitive load. And when we're younger, we like that. But think about it. You like noisy places when you're younger. You like going to events when you're younger. Once you get to be an old guy like you, Carl.
It's true. It's true. I know you're laughing, but yeah, it's true. Well,
Wait until you're my age. Some
It just
people
gets
my age
worse,
don't
huh?
even want to go out of the house.
Yeah.
Because it's too noisy on the street. But yeah.
Well, I go to a lot of, like, my son, he plays, a lot of sports, and we'll go to a basketball tournament,
Yeah.
like a whole weekend
Yeah.
of games. Sometimes I'll just put in earplugs because they're always indoors in a gym, and the
Yeah.
squeaky sneakers
Yeah.
and the echoing
Yeah.
ball all over
Really?
everywhere.
Really?
It's loud, and I
So
just
it
put in
doesn't work?
earplugs. It is. It calms me
Yeah,
down a little
yeah,
bit. It's a little
yeah,
more.
yeah.
It's
Is that-
it
so
chills
you're
me
no
out.
longer jumping around screaming at the ref?
I'm not. No, we're not those parents. I've seen those parents.
Actually, by law, every high school basketball team, soccer team has to have a parent who screams at the coach. That is a law of
Well,
nature.
they have those signs now. You've seen them, right? Where when you walk into a soccer tournament, and it's like, these refs are human beings.
Yes, right.
The kids are here
Well, that's
for
'cause it's
fun.
gotten over
There's like
the
a
top.
list of things.
No, it's gotten in over the top. I once was at a soccer tournament with my son Eli, and one of the guys on the team, the fathers, was yelling because Eli was small, at the 12 or 13-year-old's ref. In other words,
These are
it was
just
a-
kids. Yeah,
well, then
just reffing.
then I looked at him and told him, you can't do that, and yelled at him. And he looked at me, he's a big guy, and he lifted his arms up like a gorilla. And I had decided if he was coming close to me, I was going to do the unthinkable. I was going to go in the middle of the field, stop the game, and yell, help, someone is attacking me.
Wow.
Because he was going like that.
You
I
were
thought-
feeling that. You thought he might come for you.
I thought it might come out. I thought, I'm going to get injured at a soccer game by an abnormal parent.
Right.
I'm going to stop the game.
Sure.
Because if he attacked me, the game would have stopped anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to go in, but his friend pulled him back, and I could see him.
Wow. Some people are
He's ready
just so...
to attack me because
Yeah.
I was correcting him from yelling at the kid ref,
These parents, they
Life-
get so jacked up.
They're so jacked up. Yeah. Yes,
It's crazy,
But
yeah.
you now can wear earplugs,
Yeah.
and you don't even have to listen to those parents.
I don't
Yeah.
listen to them.
Yeah,
I
well, that's
just,
good.
yeah.
Congratulations.
I just shoot them dagger looks.
That's right. Yeah. Why don't you wear like earplugs, like earpods?
Oh, yeah. I could do that. Sure.
They do a good job. I think they do a better job at putting down noise
Mm-hmm.
than the wax plugs.
Maybe that would help for this emailer. Maybe. Do you
Well,
think
maybe there
earplugs
are
might
some
help them?
issues with
pods?
I can't pronounce it. I can't. But people-
Hypercusis?
Hypercusis.
Yeah.
There are some issues. There are some website recommendations. I'm not familiar with them, but I know it's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially a big problem with people who have autism or on Asperger's, basically on, have that syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
which is a broad syndrome. One of them, it's very difficult to be in public places. Anyway, hope that I helped.
I hope so. Have a healthy living question for Zorba? Just post it on our Facebook page or call the show at
Zorba. Damn it.
608.
Sorry.
That's all right. Listeners, Just a little behind the curtain here. Zorba for years, that's how I would cue him up for the email address. So he was ready to do the email address, but I mentioned it as the phone number.
It's my
that's
muscle.
my bad.
It's my muscle out. It's 608.
There it is.
492-9292. That's 608-492-9292. And I do answer a lot of these voicemails, so bring them on.
All right, Zorba, you've heard of dad jokes, right? You know where I'm going with this already.
Yeah, I got it.
We got mom jokes on this show, not dad jokes. We've all heard
Does she
dad.
have a book or something?
No, I should be pushing a book for her because she wrote some. This is my mom. She wrote some amazing jokes.
Amazing or bizarre?
Bizarre, all of it. How about just everything involved there? And I recorded her telling these jokes, and so it's time.
Go for it.
It's time for mom.
Go for it.
Mom jokes.
Mom jokes.
All right, Zorba, you'll like this one. This is a good Midwest joke. What is Paul Bunyan's favorite book in the Bible? Acts.
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 Like like an axe.
Acts.
See, she writes
something?
great jokes.
She thinks in strange and unusual ways that I don't think acts.
Acts.
Got it. Acts.
It's a play on words.
That's right. It's a play on word.
Thanks,
Mom.
Love that one. Love that one. All right, let's do some listener feedback here. We love getting listener feedback. We're going to read some. This is an email from Julie, who writes, "Dear Dr. Pastor, first I want to say how much I like your newspaper column and your TV reports."
Thank you.
And maybe listeners
thank
don't
you.
know this. Zorba's on TV
right.
in Madison weekly or so,
Yep.
a couple times a
Yep.
month maybe,
Yep.
and writes a weekly column for different places.
Yep.
Julie goes on, "I don't listen to podcasts, but I'm sure they're just as good as your columns." They are, Julie, right?
That's right. And she can listen to podcasts.
Yes.
The reality is, if you have a smartphone, you might think you're dumb, but you're really not. And the way to figure out a podcast, first of all, is you put podcast in the search part. And if you've got the app, it'll pop up. And then once it pops up, you put Zorba or Dr. Zorba, and it will pop up to our podcast. Push the button, get in, you'll get the latest episode, go to the upper right-hand side, and bang, you can then be a subscriber, which doesn't cost you anything. And then when you're a subscriber, you'll get the weekly notice in your email. So it's easy to do. What's even easier is talk to your teenager off the street. Walk on the street and say, "I'm having trouble pulling down a podcast." And any teenager will say, "Oh, I can help you, ma'am." Just like, or sir,
Yeah,
just
they're
like
so
crossing
kind,
the
right?
street, just
Polite.
random teenagers. You also can go to our website, drzorba.org, spell it out, drzorba.org, and do that. But I have confidence
Me too.
that you can figure out how to do a podcast.
That's
with
good.
help. Don't
With
get me
help.
wrong.
That's right. Julie continues, "I wanted to respond to something you said in a recent column about breast cancer. You expressed surprise that in the Swedish study, 1 out of 3 women did not go to their first mammogram. This surprised me a little, but not a lot. That's because for a younger woman, a mammogram is extremely uncomfortable. It is really a barbaric way to do a medical test. If men had to squeeze their balls between 2 glass
Really not
plates
funny.
to screen for prostate cancer, no one would have this test done. The only option ever given to me to avoid the pain was to take aspirin or Tylenol before the test. Even so, I still get tested because my mother had breast cancer. However, there are good reasons that women avoid the test. It hurts a lot. As far as I know, no one is researching an alternative screening method, probably because it's only a woman's problem, quote unquote, a woman's problem. I still hold out hope that those studying blood tests for cancer screening will be successful so that mammograms will be a thing of the past." What do you think about this?
Well, first of all, mammograms, some women call them squishograms,
Sure.
are basically because you squish the breasts. That's the only way to do it. Unfortunately, you can't just take an x-ray. It turns out the technology, even now, 30, 40 years later after the mammogram was invented, is not, you don't get the accuracy unless you squish the breasts. That's just the nature of the
do you
test.
think there should be a different way
Well,
to do this?
there's a lot of research going out there.
Yeah.
There used to be something called thermograms, where they would actually look at the thermal analysis of the breast, but it turned out that was not accurate. It missed a lot of breast cancer. It only picked up the bigger breast cancer. And she is wrong. There is lots of research going on how to figure out breast cancer. If there would be a blood test, that would be great. But unfortunately, we're not there yet. Now, that doesn't mean we won't be there in the future, but I don't think it's a male-female issue. There is, because among other things, there is lots of money in capitalism. We are a capitalistic society. There is a lot of money in an alternative test.
Okay.
Believe me, if a company comes out with an alternative test, blood test or something else, and they make the machine or do the blood test to do it, they are going to be rich. So there's lots of research going into this.
Okay, that's good.
And it's difficult. And I think she's right. I was sort of shocked by it because in that case, money is not an object. Also, I think it's painful for older women too. I don't think it's just painful for younger women.
Right.
It's painful for a number of women. Some women say it's somewhat painful, and some women say it's really painful.
All right. Have some feedback for Zorba? You can post it on our Facebook page. You can call the show at 608-492-9292. Or you can send us an email at
Zorba at WP.
He did it again, folks. He did it again. No, the email address.
Ask Dr. Zorba at gmail.com. That's askdrzorba at gmail.com. You know, it's hard to get out of that habit.
It's muscle memory, isn't it?
Well, something.
Clinky Cleaners is sponsoring this episode.
Thank you. Okay, Carl, here's a philosophical question. Which came first, the chicken hatchery or the dry cleaning company?
I'm not really following.
Really, let me elaborate. Okay. Clinky Cleaners started out, believe it or not, as a chicken hatching business. And then in 1958, they got into the laundry and dry cleaning business. And for nearly 70 years, they've been a family-owned business proudly serving the good folks of southern Wisconsin.
Clinky Cleaners is the most award-winning dry cleaner in the state. They've won all the local awards in the markets where they operate, including Best of Madison for 42 years running.
So when it comes to clean, Clinky Cleaners doesn't just compete. They have a clean sweep.
I see what you did there, Zorba. Okay, Zorba, on the old radio show, we used to do a recurring segment called the Grammar Police.
Yes.
But due to some circumstances we really don't need to get into here, we decided to rename it.
We call it circumstances beyond our control.
That's true.
That's what we say.
That's it, yeah. We'll leave it at that, right?
We renamed it to a better name.
That's right. We evolved.
It's a better name. Right.
It's a better name. And that name is the Grammar Cops.
We got a grammar situation here.
Grab a cop!
Bum, bum, bum. I can picture them in the car, can't you?
Yeah.
It's great.
Grab a cop. Watch your grammar.
Watch your grammar, folks.
Watch your grammar.
Watch it. This is actually from the pronunciation cops, who are they're sticklers.
Yeah.
This is a voicemail that came from Baraboo, Wisconsin.
This is Sue in Baraboo, and I just wanted to comment about the pronunciations. I'm from Elk Mound, which is near Eau Claire, EAU, as we all know, Wisconsin. I moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and there's an EAU, capital CLAIRE, Michigan.
Really?
And it's pronounced Eau Claire. Well, I never got over that. And the big joke was when I moved from Kalamazoo to Baraboo. So that's all. Just wanted to give a comment. Thanks. Bye.
I love it. I moved from Kalamazoo to Baraboo, which is great.
That's a song right there. Yeah.
Eau Claire to Eau Claire. That's
Kalamazoo,
great. Yeah. Well, it goes to
Baraboo.
show you that the people in Michigan do not know how to pronounce things correctly.
It's not aw.
Come on, the Michiganders. Come on, Michiganders. Bring it on. Show
Jeez,
me
oh,
where you're
Pete.
better than the Wisconsinites in terms, the Scotties in terms of pronouncing it. I don't think you have it in you. I mean, I'm ready to set up a real fight between the grammar cops in Michigan and the grammar cops in Wisconsin. A tournament. That's what we need.
Tournament.
A jousting tournament. A pronunciation and grammar jousting tournament. Can you arrange that?
Let me get on that. Yeah, I'll work on that. That
you're on
sounds
it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Does Zorba need a visit from the grammar cops? Email your violation to askdrzorba@gmail.com. Okay, Zorba, we learned a lot today. We talked about health literacy.
That's
one
right.
of your passions. You're very passionate about that. We helped out a caller about hormone replacement therapy.
Yep.
Listener email about hypercusis, right? And we heard a mom joke about Paul Bunyan. That was fun.
Great joke.
Talked about
I'll remember that
mammograms.
forever.
Yeah. X. X. And we heard from the grammar, actually it was the pronunciation cops.
That's
so
right. Yeah,
thanks for
they're
listening
okay.
to our podcast.
Thanks for listening for our podcast. We love it. We love emails, askdrzorba@gmail.com. We love Facebook, post things, questions you have on Facebook. We love it. Come to our website, drzorba.org. Spell it out, Dr. Zorba. Spell it out.org. And we really love calls. 608-492-9292. Call, and there's a very good chance that we will answer the phone. Now, once again, I'm not on 24/7, but I do love it. And don't forget, stay well.